Hi team, and welcome to Getting Into Scanning. Now we're up to speed on terminology. In this video, we'll cover why scanning. There are many different reasons scanning is used and several considerations that come along with the use of it, which we will try to cover here. First off, one of the biggest advantages to scanning is that it's easier to collect than traditional processes. When looking at most of the scanners in the marketplace, you only need to set them up and hit go to collect the data, as in most cases, there isn't any elaborate setup required. More data collected is also an advantage. Rather than collecting individual points, whole clouds of data are collected, vastly broadening the applications that the data can be used on. When looking at field time, due to the speed and setup nature of scanning, there is less time spent in the field collecting the data, meaning that field teams aren't tied up on site for long periods of time. Another major selling point to scanning is that it can be done on active sites. From busy construction sites through to active roads, scanning is able to be used without impacting other workers. Scanning is set up and done off to the side, and undesirable elements captured can be removed later in the office. This saves time with regards to shutdowns as well as cost with things like closing roads and traffic management. Scanning is versatile. Not only is there the ability to get into tight spaces such as pipes and tanks, scanners can be put on extender legs and lifted up off the ground to capture data up in roof cavities and over fences. This ability makes data capture even more versatile, broadening what can be achieved with the data. Then there is that project everyone's had. Data captured on site only to later find out that something was missed in the collection, or a request has been made to capture something else not in the original scope, requiring a return to site. With scanning, there's less need to do this as the information is most likely already collected. With all this considered, scanning also allows you to work in all conditions. When looking at day and night, the raw data coming out of the scanner is an intensity value, so scanning can be done in pitch black and still return a result. For hot and cold temperatures, the field component can be done in more desirable temperatures, like that at the start of the hot day before the temperature gets too high, and processing can then be done in the cool air conditioning for the rest of the day. Easy on-site analysis is a newer addition to the advantages of scanning. With scanning being registered in the field using tablets, data can be easily represented on site to other teams to allow measurements and comparisons to be done live in the field. Issues can be more easily addressed in scanning as the data comes from the stations and they can be pulled apart and rejoined if needed, meaning that there isn't any technical component required to put scans back together, and the data should already be captured. The bulk of scanning is generally done in processing to get the information out. Most packages have a streamlined process for breaking the data into regions, though, to automatically extract data and to speed up this process. When scanning, a more complete picture is captured in the field from the point of interest. This then can be translated into a more accurate model being able to be created from the scan data, be it a 2D plan or 3D full model. Scanning also allows for more methods to visualize the data, including 2D, 3D, station views, cutting planes, and more. This helps get a more complete picture while processing, while also allows for getting into those tight spaces and extracting data. The next thing to cover here are some of the considerations that come along with scanning. While we have a whole host of items to the advantages of scanning, there are some factors that come along with it for looking at projects as well as when talking to customers. By now, it should be fairly apparent that the office side of things is going to be more time consuming than the field component, mostly because this is where the bulk of the extraction is being done, rather than traditional methods where key points have already been identified in the field. The amount of data collected is also significantly larger, meaning for larger files being transferred between field and office, and also larger storage requirements needed to store them. Due to the large number of points, faster and more powerful computers are needed to assist with the visualization, extraction, and automation processes and help make them faster. Accuracies are a huge consideration with scanning, as we have discussed. This is a consideration for any project when looking at what accuracies can be met in the field by the processes used, as well as the accuracies that the instrument is capable of. 1 to 2 millimeter accuracies is not able to be chased on any instrument that doesn't meet those constraints on paper. Registration processes and the number of setups too will have an effect on the accuracy of the final model. Different scanners have different abilities and accuracies. Using only one scanner might not be the best approach to the project. Sometimes different scanners are needed to achieve higher accuracies or positioning. Finally, outputs are a huge consideration. Size is the biggest to start with. What file format is needed? Does it need to be downsampled first to get to a smaller size? Remembering downsampling will drop the resolution of data and lose some of the information in the output. Does the output need to be structured or unstructured? Does the format support that? One final consideration here is that handing over the data allows the user to do anything with that point cloud, from basic measurements to full-blown modeling themselves, or outsource it to someone else. It is worth considering that the point cloud is a chargeable element in itself. As always, thanks for watching, and please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to discuss this further. Happy scanning.